Hi, my name is Deanna Smith, the founder of DAC Lifestyles, and I would like to invite you to be a guest on my show. We're here to bring inspiration, motivation, education, and share information with people. DAC Lifestyles. DAC Lifestyles.
My name is Suzanne Bengtson, and I am a trainer at Twin Cities Rise. And in addition to being a trainer, I am a producer, I'm a playwright, and I do a lot of amazing things to help people become who they want to be. And so I love what I do, and I was absolutely honored at the thought of coming here speaking with you today, so it's a delight to be here.
Awesome. What I love about what you just said is that you help people be who they want to be, and that's kind of why we have this show, is to help people be connected to resources that's going to help them fuel their dreams and their goals and be the person they want to be. Tell us more about Twin Cities Rise and your role at Twin Cities Rise. You say you're a trainer. What does that mean?
Okay. So I've been at Twin Cities Rise for 5 years, and we teach a series of classes, workshops around career development, communication, technology, and essentially everything wraps together to help people make transitions in their career. And a lot of it also helps them propel to who they want to be in their life. Mm-hmm. And probably the flagship of Twin Cities Rise is our personal empowerment. So most of us, people who know Twin Cities Rise, they know Twin Cities Rise through our personal empowerment. And
what's personal empowerment?
Personal empowerment is the ability to be connected to you and knowing who you are, mm-hmm. and knowing how you take up space in the world. Mm-hmm. And are you being effective in getting the goals and your dreams out? Right. Are you being effective in doing that? And if you're not, the personal empowerment helps you understand how to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't know that Twin Cities Rise really had these type of programs. I really thought Twin Cities Rise help people who don't have jobs get jobs, right?
Sure. And a lot of people think that. And we do help people find jobs. That's part of it. But in doing so, the most important thing is that they become connected to what's best for me personally, what's best for my family, what helps my community, and all of that can happen by going through the program.
And there's so many people that need that, you know. What does it look like for somebody to enroll in Twin Cities Rise? Now, what does the progression look like from first day to getting a job?
Okay. So after they come into the orientation, and they go through that orientation process, and they decide that Twin Cities Rise is a good fit for them based on where they are at that point in their lives, they would come to our first class, which is the kickoff, and we kind of give an overview of the program at that time, and then they begin a series of classes. They can attend either in the morning or they can come in the afternoon, and the classes are set up Monday through Friday, 9:30 to noon or 1:30 to 4. And you have personal empowerment on Monday and Friday. There is a career path or a career exploration on Tuesday, a empowered communication, which helps people figure out, how do I communicate once I get in those spaces? How do I communicate the value that I have as a worker? How do I communicate my skills? How do I communicate my goals?
Do you help with entrepreneurship?
We do not have an entrepreneur program currently at the time, but it is in the works.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome, because there are a lot of people like myself who may not fit into that day-to-day job. We might want a job to pay the bills,
right?
But ultimately, we see ourselves as business owners and entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Right.
All right, so that's good to know for that process.
Right.
Yeah.
So who's the perfect candidate for Twin Cities Rise?
Anyone who wants to go to the next level in their life. It could be around employment, it could be around entrepreneurship, it could be around building your self-esteem, it could be around, I want to be a better version of myself. I want to get there, but I don't know how to get there. Anybody who wants to transform and become the best version of themselves.
How do I sign up?
Yeah, let's go.
You got me signed up for Twin City Ride. Okay. So it's for anybody, any level of employment. Like you have an executive director, you have high level positions, they can come in and get what they need to take to the next level.
They can, and I think sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And so if you've been looking for a job and things haven't been going well, maybe you get stuck at a certain point with resumes, maybe you get stuck at a certain point with interviewing, maybe it's really just deciding which direction you want to go in, maybe it's just building my level of belief in myself that I can get there. All of those things are covered in the program. You can be a high school graduate, you could be, maybe you're not a high school graduate. If you've had some college, that works too. So any educational status you have, you would be able to enroll in the program.
How do we enroll? What do we need to do? If we're watching this, what do we need to do?
Call Twin Cities Rise. Call Twin Cities Rise, find out when the next information session is, and get over there and put the application in, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Do you know the number?
612-338-0295.
612
338
338
02
85.
85.
There we go.
85.
What's your favorite part of your job?
Watching the light go on for people. Watching something in the material, something that the instructor says, something that another person sitting next to them say, something happens and you see everything connects.
Right.
That's the best moment. Because then whether they get a job right away or whether they, no matter what happens in after that, you see that something has transpired where it's the beginning. The flame has been lit.
Right.
That's probably the most beautiful thing I've seen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we want to know more about Suzanne. Tell me, where are you from?
Ooh, where am I from? I am from Chicago.
What?
South Side. What?
Okay,
Yes.
South Side. I got friends on the South Side. Wild Hunnets.
Wow, yeah, the hundreds is wild. What's that? Ooh. Yeah, but yes, I'm from Chicago. I've been here 30 years.
Okay.
And I came here because I had realized that if I wanted my life to go to the next level, and my 3 kids at that time, that I would have to get out of Chicago.
Right.
And I had a cousin who lived here,
Okay.
who needed some help with her kid while she went into the hospital to have another kid. Back then they used to keep you at the hospital 3 days. And so she needed somebody to watch her 7-year-old.
Like, bye, see you later.
Yeah. So back in the day, that was the case. And so she needed someone to watch her 7-year-old. I said I would come up here, and then I was here.
Awesome.
And I never went
Okay,
back.
so do you have a daily ritual or routine?
I do. So when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is make coffee. That's the first. I'm a coffee junkie, so I get up. I make a pot of coffee, get this thing going, and then I try to have a few minutes of time, just quiet time, before life starts coming at me. Usually that's my husband and son. So before y'all even start, let me have some time for me. I have my coffee going. The smell is in the air. And then I just kind of try to give myself maybe 3 to 5 minutes just to collect my thoughts, just to think about what my day is going to be like, and just having a level of appreciation for where I am at this point in my life.
Right.
And that's kind of what happens every morning.
I like it because I feel like you have to set the stage.
Absolutely.
If you don't set the stage and you get lost, then your day is just
It gets away from you.
It gets away from you.
It gets away from you.
I try to be better at being intentional about my daily rituals. But I'm not. I don't know why. Why can't I get it together?
It's a process. We got to be gentle on ourselves. It's a process, and there are some days when it works really, really well, and there are other days where I'm going to take these 15 extra minutes of sleep, and it's going to throw off the rest of my day, and I'm okay with it because that's what I need to do today, and that's okay because that's a form of self-care too, because that's what your body needs at that moment.
That's right,
and that's all right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Have you done any life coaching or any? Do you have any certifications in like life coaching or anything spiritual or?
You know what? I think that's probably has been my life with raising 5 children. That I have been a life coach in one way or another. And one thing I have learned is that you cannot tell people what to do. But you can help them ask the right questions to get to what they want to do.
Right.
And so, so in a way, I believe I've been a life coach all my life. And so the certification is mom from Chicago who did that.
Okay,
I like that. That's my certification. Right.
I love it. Okay, so that leads me to my next question.
Okay.
Would you consider yourself spiritual or more religious?
Okay, I would probably say spiritual. I am the second child to my father and the 8th child to my mother.
Okay.
And they were not married.
Right.
And you know how you had those relationships with folks and you had that kid? That was me.
Okay.
And so I moved around a lot growing up. And I learned that people who were really religious did things the right way and did things the wrong way. And people who weren't did the right thing and the wrong way. And so I began to decipher and sift through what worked for me. And I realized it wasn't a box of being any one particular religion.
Right.
And so that didn't really work for me or my lifestyle and who I am as a person.
Right. I feel like it doesn't work for a lot of people, but some people feel stuck in the religious pieces. Like they feel like in order to be okay, they have to be religious. This is just from me talking to other people and having relationships with other people.
Sure.
But I just feel like spirituality is definitely the way to go. That's how you become grounded. That's how you get to know yourself, and that's how you really can build your foundation.
Absolutely. And I think, unfortunately, as soon as we put ourselves in a particular box, it means that we have a certain connotation of other people. And so if I am a Christian, then I have a problem with people who are X. Or if I'm a Muslim, I have a problem with people who are Y. As opposed to, I believe that there is divinity in all of us. I believe that all of us are created in the image of God. And whatever the religious book says about that, I don't know what book says that we all are the same. Right. And so I just believe that. And that's one of the dilemmas I have with being religious.
Right, exactly.
Those boxes.
As I believe everybody does.
Yeah.
So how do we take religion to spirituality? How do we, I think a lot of us think that way, but it's not outwardly being expressed.
Sure,
you know?
Sure. And then the other thing is, I think my mother was probably the quintessential black hippie, if you could picture that. And she was really into African spirituality, and I knew more about the African orishas and gods by the time I was 7 years old than I knew about Jesus. I didn't know about Jesus until I was exposed to that grounding first, and perhaps that set the stage for thinking a little more critically about these other things.
And being more open-minded.
And being more open. Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Well, what's important, I feel like, through all that conversation with spirituality and life coach is continuous growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you talk about Twin Cities Rise and their program, how you help people take care of themselves and get to know who they are personally.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where it really starts. And a lot of us don't think about things like that. We don't talk about it.
Sure.
We just get up every day and live our life and try to figure out how to pay the bills and
and you know that's it. We're in survival mode. We are in survival mode, and so it's hard to look outside to any other things I would enjoy or who am I.
Exactly.
I'm trying to
How
figure
do
out.
I do that? How do
Absolutely.
I enjoy life?
Yeah, how do I do that? Right.
I gotta get up and go to work.
But it can be done.
It has to be done. It has to be done. I feel like we weren't created not to enjoy life.
There you go.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, so my next question. How would you improve a community as a whole? What is something that you would do to improve a community?
You know, I think we all have work to do, individual work. And so back to that self-awareness piece, we all do our individual work, and then we as a collective come together to figure out what do we need to do as a community and work together to do that, and be completely honest and be completely transparent in what the issues are. I think sometimes we get stuck on what the problem is as the problem being outside of the community, and there might be some of that at play, but there's a lot of things happening within the community that I think we need to do a completely honest assessment on and give ourselves some grace there.
Yes.
And then strategize.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that. We definitely got to start with us
Yes.
inside the community
Yes.
before we can go and request something of somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think our individual work, and particularly the work in our families, because we can get bogged down right there. So if everybody's taking care of their individual selves, and if everybody's trying to figure out, you know what, is my home straight?
Right.
Are my kids straight?
It starts there, though, right?
It starts right there.
Yeah.
It starts right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That foundation
Yeah.
is what's really important. Okay, $500 in the bank or in your pocket?
Ooh. Okay, so here's the thing. I would like to think that I have the perfect answer here, and it is in the bank. Keep
Right.
it in the bank. But you know what? Here's the deal. I like having money in my pocket, and if it's in my pocket, guess what's gonna happen?
You're going to spend it.
It's gonna be spent.
Man, we might need some new
It's-
stuff today.
I'm going, man,
feeling
because
like
the earrings, you know what I was like, where them earrings come from. 'Cause,
Right.
You know, right.
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 Yeah.
So ideally in the bank, but
Where's your favorite place to travel?
I've traveled to a lot of places, and I think Thailand is probably.
Thailand. Is it expensive to travel to Thailand?
You know what? I used to work for the airline.
Okay.
And I got the
We
deal
need
of the
airline
century.
jobs.
The deal of the century. But you can get good deals now going all over the world if we plan
Right.
properly. And there are a lot of great black travel websites, travel groups online that.
So check for the travel groups, travel websites. Any
Absolutely.
travel website you would suggest?
I would
recommend?
say Black Girls Travel is they have a lot of they talk about where they're going, how much the tickets are, how to get the deals. But Thailand is probably one of the most beautiful places because it was one of the first times that I didn't think about being black. I didn't think about being a woman in this place. I just was there.
Wouldn't
And it
that
was
be a
free,
day
and it was
to not
freeing.
think about being black or woman?
It was free.
When I think about that, nice. I love that. I love to travel too, so that's why we ask those questions. And I'm sure a lot of people love to travel, and I think it's important to travel and to see different places and to explore. And I forget where I was going with my point. See, this is what happens.
Why is it one of the favorite places to go? And it is beautiful, and the food is fresh, delicious. It's hot. I like hot and humid.
I like hot and humid too.
People were amazing.
Right. Awesome. Where's your favorite spot in Minnesota?
Anywhere by the water.
Anywhere
I'm
by
a
the
water baby. Anywhere by the water.
I love it. So you know how to swim?
You know what? I do not. Okay, so here's the deal with that. Okay, so I had a near-death experience when I was like 7.
Right.
That traumatized me. But I'm still a water baby. But it's on my bucket list.
Right.
To learn how to swim.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, we got something for you then. We got the lessons for you. Yeah.
That's on my bucket list.
And the water's her favorite place.
It still is. See, it's in my spirit.
That's right. So it's time. It's gonna happen this year.
That's right.
Learn how to swim. How do you save and invest money? Just as a tip for other people who may be watching, who want to save or invest or figure out how to make money in different ways.
Start small.
Start small.
Yeah. Don't overthink it. Start small. Even
like
if it's
that.
$5 a paycheck, if it's $10 a paycheck,
Right.
and put it somewhere where you know what, you are not going to touch it. Start small.
If you could share one life lesson with all those watching, what would it be?
One life lesson, I would say, think possibilities.
Think possibilities.
Think possibilities. It's real easy to get bogged down with why we can't do something, why we shouldn't do something, or even thinking that we don't have the gifts and the beliefs, the talent to do something. But continue to remain positive and forward thinking, and that your dreams are possible. And regardless of circumstance, regardless of what the chapters have been up until that point.
You might need to say that again.
Yes, because it's just easy to get stuck there. But
is.
that's not the whole book. It's just a chapter. And we just have to remember that, because we all have the possibilities to have our best life. And so that's one of the reasons why I was super excited to come here because I want to be a part of in my own life and my family's life because it starts at home.
Right.
And how can I pay that forward? How can we pay that forward in our communities? That we continue to think about what's possible for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think that's what everybody
I
has
love
to
that.
do.
And my favorite part about doing the show is my own personal couch time I get with all the guests because they're so wonderful and they send me home thinking about a lot of stuff, right? I love it. Cremation or casket?
Ooh, yeah. Okay, so the idea of being in a casket in a box is terrifying and feels restricting. Just if I think about that, it sounds restricting. So I think cremation is the way to go.
Okay.
And sprinkle me all over a river in Thailand or Africa.
So we want to know about your business because you work for Twin Cities Rise.
Yes.
And then you started your own business.
Yes.
And they always say that you should have more than one income. Right?
Absolutely.
So what made you start your own business?
Well, the other thing I have to say is that we have to trust the universe, and we just have to walk our walk, do what we're supposed to do, and trust the universe because the universe got our back.
Yeah.
And so we just have to keep moving in the direction that we want to go in. And so a couple of years ago, I was at Selby Jazz Fest. Woman comes up to me I used to work with, and she goes, "You know what? I got the part for you." I said, "The what?" She said, "The part for you. I got the part for you." I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" She said, "Well, I have a theater company. We have a play coming up. I got a part that you'll be perfect for." And so all I need to do is go audition. I said, "Well, wait a minute. I don't do that." Right. So thank you. Appreciate the sentiment, but I don't do that.
Right.
So we set up a time to go. I said, "I'll go. I'll check it out." Went there. I did not want to go. At the very last moment, I went because every negative thought that could come into my head did. You're too old for this. You don't act. You don't do. You can't do all the things that we just that negative tape that plays in our head. And I went and got the part. That was over 5 years ago.
Okay.
I got hooked. And some things that were happening in my life, I just started penning. And before you know it, I just was writing and writing and writing. And I'm like, oh my God, I think there might be a play here. And so, thus, let's create a production company and create these plays. The plays that our community needs that may or may not be out there, we may not have the resources for, but how do we get those stories told?
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You are so inspiring. Ooh. Okay, so you have a play. What's the name of the play?
The name of the play is The Viking and the Gazelle, and it is loosely based on my experience about maybe 8 years ago in this process of dating.
Okay.
And dating a person that does not look like me.
Okay.
And everything that comes along with that internally, that process that one will go through internally, and what would happen in the community, along friends, family, and the community.
That's interesting.
On
I like
both sides of the coin
And
in Minnesota.
That's perfect for Minnesota. Yeah.
And so how can you tell this story in a very real way, in a very authentic way? So we decided to pick it.
Awesome. And like how you met your husband, you said it was hard to get there because I said I want to get married one day, and then you said it wasn't that easy. So tell us.
Yeah, my last name is Bengtson, and that is not a Southside Chicago name, and so my husband does not look like me, and to be perfectly honest, I did struggle with the relationship. Like I said, I knew about my African culture when I was young. I've grown up on the South Side. Everybody's black. The doctor's black. The cop is black. Your teacher is black. Everybody is black. The waitress is black. And so, but 25 years later, to find yourself single after a difficult marriage, after some serious trauma, after searching and finding and fighting for your own light.
Yes.
And you being your best self, after doing all that work, you meet somebody who does not look like you.
Right.
And how do you handle that? And I didn't handle it well because I thought, with my black girl magic,
Right.
I need black love magic. And if it doesn't come that way, then
It ain't
I'm
right.
not going to access it because it's not right.
Right.
And so I struggled with that.
Right. So where did you meet?
We met online.
Okay.
We met
That's
online.
the thing now.
We met online and we flirted online. I'm like,
Okay, you flirt online, so okay, let me give this a try.
Okay.
So then you go on a date.
We go on a date and I was like, oh, heck no.
Why?
Because it went against what I thought I was supposed to do as a black woman. It went against, am I not loyal?
Okay.
Am I not down for my community?
Right.
If I accessed what might be something that's good for me, and I struggle with
Right.
that even being the situation.
Right.
That something being good for me might be a negative, might be seen as disloyal
There it is.
for my community. I
Right.
struggle with that.
Right. But it felt good.
But it felt right.
Right.
But it felt right.
Okay.
And so as I'm saying to you all, and I'm saying to myself, it may not look like whatever your dreams are, whatever the possibilities are for you, it may not look like the career you thought you were going to have, or the job you thought you were going to have, or where you thought you were going to live, or where you thought, whatever you thought you were going to do. It may not look like what's in our imagination, but our imagination is limited to what our experience has been,
Right.
unfortunately. So I said, well, I'm just going to see.
Right.
And if it is, fine. And if it ain't, cool.
Right.
And so that's what happened. And I just kept walking the walk, and before you know it, I still struggled.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Viking and the Gazelle is about this guy who is trying to navigate this budding relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about this woman trying to navigate this budding relationship and having to deal with everything that's on the outside of you that's
Right.
trying to influence whether you should make a great decision for yourself or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're just gonna leave you with that.
Leave it at that.
Boom.
All right.
Love it. Do you have any questions for us, or do you have anything that you want to say to the good people, or anything that's on your heart or mind that you have to just let it go?
I have to say that I am honored to see you two here in this building doing what you're doing and supporting the community and uplifting the community in front of the camera and behind the camera, and that I am inspired by your energy, I'm inspired by your joy, I'm inspired by your commitment and dedication, and you are here doing the work day in and day out. And so I just appreciate you. So
Yeah.
thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a big circle of the universe. We all got to do our part.
Absolutely.
And like you said, walk in it. It may feel foreign. We just got to go forward and keep continuing to do our best and
Absolutely.
get better every day.
And
right?
get better every day. And
Yes.
be gentle with ourselves. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yes. And then not only be gentle with
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah.
I think we have to be careful who we associate with and who we're around as well. Because sometimes it can be hard. It can be hard to be gentle to yourself and
Yep.
love yourself when you have people around you that don't know how to do that. And that
Absolutely.
could take away from who you are and what you have going on too.
Absolutely. We have a saying at Twin Cities Rise that everybody in your theater may not need to be in the front row.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Doesn't mean you don't love them. You just have to love them from a distance.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right. Hey, I'm gonna end on that note. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm
Be
honored to
inspired.
here. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, beautiful people. It's Deanna Smith with DAC Lifestyles. We're all about healthy lifestyles, all about making right choices. And today we're in the pool. We're teaching some lessons. We would like to invite you to join us. If you don't know how to swim, or if you know how to swim a little bit and you want to get better, hit us up 763-222-4992. 763-222-4992. Sign up today and swim away. Deanna, DAC Lifestyles.